Hey, hey folks. Oh my god. I gotta like empty my phone because it's getting low on space to make videos. How much time do I got? Oh, it says I have 55 minutes left. Well, I'm not gonna talk to you for 55 minutes, not in this one video. No. So what we talking about today? I know I made a video this morning and I was like super excited. I was like, oh my god, it's so nice out. I gotta make another video. I just gotta. I just finished watching a video of Brian Scott, and oh my god, Brian Scott strikes again! I had to watch it a second time because I started this morning and I was listening to it kind of like while I was working, and I missed like a whole bunch of parts, and I was like, oh damn, I gotta listen to that shit again. So it was about chaos magic, and holy ball sack, that's right down my alley. So that was pretty cool. I really liked it. If you're into chaos magic and being a sorcerer's apprentice, I highly recommend that video. It ties into a whole bunch of stuff I'm already into anyway, and it just kind of confirmed a lot of stuff that I had previously been working on, and even tied in some stuff, connected the dots a bit on some other subjects. So I thought that was really fucking cool. So basically, and it's funny because they talked about the use of psychedelics and shamanism and all that a little bit. They touched on that subject. So I was gonna give a brief summary of some psychedelic experiences today. I don't have a lot of time to chat. I have some time though, and yeah, so let's dive in right away while we can. I don't know if I'll be able to fit all this information in one video. I'll try and keep it brief, but we'll see where this goes. Okay. So basically, when I was a teenager, I had experimented with obviously LSD, psychedelics. It's not something that went around often, but I think at that age, as a teenager in early 20s, in that window of time where I was experiencing these things, I think it was more for entertainment purposes. I had no idea any of the value of what I was experiencing at that age. I didn't have the wisdom to match the experience. So long story short, skip 20 years down the road, because I basically did these experiences as a teen up until about 21, I'd say. 21 probably was the last experience that I did have. And 21, no, that's not true. Maybe 22, maybe something like that. And that being said, when I re-experienced with psychedelics, it's actually literally what, like last summer, the summer before, I had opened up with I very lightly did MDMA, which is not a psychedelic, but it brought me some weird healing properties. Like, of course it reduces your inhibition and all that, but my skin, I have super dry skin. I have tons of skin problems, right? Like related to crocodile skin and shit. So, but for some weird reason, when I tried the MDMA, my skin was like healed for a whole week. Every time after each experience, my skin would heal and I would have like normal hands, normal skin, and I felt what it was like to have normal skin for a week. So that was only a couple of experiences. It was very fun, lovey and all that, but that's pretty much the depth of MDMA. You know, it's pretty much more about music and beauty and stuff like that. Photography maybe. It's very loving. And then I did, I think it was the same year, I had some time, and we did an experience, me and my significant other, me and Eric, we did mushrooms, and I was like, hey, let's do Terrence McKenna style, let's do 5 G's each. 5 G's each in the woods. Yeah, what a wonderful idea. Anywho, it started off nice and dandy, and it derailed very fast because, like, and I mean the beginning of this come up was so insane. We were like right at sunset, like the sun through the trees and shit, like fucking crazy ass shit that I would have never imagined. Like, I literally could see like the grass and everything, like stuff was growing up and spiraling, and everything looked like it was breathing, and everything looked like it was alive, and it kept like trying to pull me into the woods, and I was like, oh my god, I want to go in the woods. Anyway, the wind picked up at one point, and I got lost on a very small portion of land. I got lost. Like everything seemed so big. I felt so small, like really small. And everything seemed so big and giant and huge. And I remember it was the beginning of a storm that started to happen. And it got really windy and all that. And I was so high, I didn't know that it was actually a real storm with real wind and rain. I did not understand that this was not part of my trip. It was really happening. And I had this, like, I got lost and confused into reality, because reality literally folded in on itself, if you will. I got lost because I didn't understand reality. It was so abstract. It was almost like a Picasso painting. And I remember the neighbors had driven by, like they have a road where my land is, and it made me super paranoid, and I started to have anxiety because I was like, what if they come and talk to me? I'm not gonna know what to say. They're gonna like call the ambulance on me, and I was imagining this crazy shit. And then I looked over at the like campfire, which was super small, right? And I saw it like leaking out of the fire, and like everything was like catching fire, and like it was fucking raining. Nothing was gonna catch on fire. But I saw it. Everything, like the fire was out of control, you know? And I kept trying to dump these huge bins of water on it, and my boyfriend was like, the fuck is wrong with you? There's no more fire. Nah. But I didn't believe it. I couldn't, like, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was so terrified of like everything catching on fire and getting in trouble, and super bad trip. Anyway, I went into the tent because I started to not feel well, and needless to say, I got lost in my tent because the tent didn't look like a tent anymore. I couldn't find my way out on the zipper. I didn't know how to use a phone anymore. So I kept getting lost in these images of like trees and roots, and being like part of the roots of the trees, and like I was part tree root, part underground, part like everything. It was so weird. Like the only comfort I had was to like hold on to Eric's arm and like wait it out. And it seemed like it lasted forever and ever and ever and ever. And it's like it only lasted like 3 hours, maybe 2 hours was the top crazy part of the trip. And then when I started like come back to normal and like know how to open the tent and use the phone, like I was like okay to go out of the tent. And it was interesting. It was a very interesting trip. It showed me a lot. And the weird thing in that is that I felt like I had such a bad trip. Like I cried after. I was so happy to be out of it. But the strange thing is that like 3 weeks later we decided, because we rarely have time alone. So we decided 3 weeks later we had another moment where we were alone all weekend. Let's do it again. Because I was like, no, I wasn't done. The trip wasn't done. There was more I was supposed to do. I was supposed to go in the woods, and it rained and all that. So we do another trip, about another 4.5 grams each. Like, and then it went weird. I was sitting next to the fire, and things didn't look the same anymore. It wasn't like all vibrant and green and beautiful, and everything went gray and drab, and I started to get cold and uncomfortable, and I'm like, oh no, we gotta go lie down. Anyway, the whole trip was terror and just, I don't know if it was like shadow work or it was terror. Like I had terror. It was terror. It was not fun. I wanted to do anything to make it stop, and I couldn't. I had to live through it. At the end of the trip, I came out of it, and it's like I had this weird communication with trees. It's like the trees had tricked me the first time to get me to do the second trip. And then I had these crazy understandings about trees and nature and how under the roots and how they communicate. Because the communication with the trees was the most fucked up shit. Because I've always had a huge connection with trees, very, very passionate connection with trees. I love trees. They're like elders to me. They're like our elder beings on this planet. And it's like the trees at the end of that trip when I got out of the tent, it hadn't rained that time. But so we restarted the fire, and I remember crying and being like, oh my god, those tricksters, the trees are damn tricksters. And I was like, I knew that the trees had like tricked me into doing a second trip. Like, I learned a lot about nature and diving deep, and it was extremely emotional trip. Like emotional. Very a lot of emotions. Like, it's very hard to describe what I got out of it, but I know I was not the same person after, and I was happy to be alive, and I appreciated life. And yeah, the trees, man, it was all about them trees. So yeah, that was pretty fucking intense. So I haven't dabbled back with psilocybin or mushrooms since then. I definitely, if I do another trip, it'll be 1 or 2 grams, and I'm gonna take it slow, and I'm gonna see where it leads, because there's no way I'm gonna go down that road again. Only because it's highly therapeutic. If you want to do like some deep ass fucking shadow work and dive deep into the depths of your fucking soul, however that was related with nature or whatever, there was also a lot of fear that came up in that trip. Fear of because I didn't have my kids with me, of course, obviously. And I kept thinking about like how I was a bad person and how I felt guilty about even like doing this and all that. And so it brought up a lot of my guilt. A lot of my guilt related to like who I was as a person. Am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? And like looking back, I don't have any regrets. It had its purpose. It was just highly therapeutic. Very massive like trauma therapy, if there was any. I do believe, in retrospect, we should have retreats here in Canada, Quebec, wherever you want, like they have in the down south. They should seriously have retreats where they do therapies with mushrooms, with assisted personnel to walk people through it. I think there should be one. I think these places need to be in location everywhere with trained individuals to walk people through these experiences. If they're going to do a 5 gram walk into the depths of hell of their soul, you need to be assisted properly with this. And I was not assisted properly. I got out what I could out of it, but I don't think I'd be going down that road again. I'm not enough of a navigator to attempt anything of that nature without proper assistance. But it was still pretty cool, and I highly respect the mushroom gods. I highly respect the mushroom gods very much. So those were only my 2 trips that I did. That's all I got out of it. And no regrets, like I said, but I won't be navigating that in the same way in the future if ever I go down that road again. So we're going to stop this on this. 12 minutes. You had to listen to me babble enough about this subject. I want to do another talk about, I'll do one video on LSD and one on DMT. LSD I hold very dear to my heart. Holy motherfucking shit. That is my drug of choice when it comes to studying the nature of reality. And it touches more on the physics aspect that I find. It's more cerebral in the mind. But holy shit, if you're into magic and physics and shit, like, to me, that's like the ultimate mind meld of knowledge, sacred knowledge, and opening portals and shit. But that's just me personally. Maybe someone else, it might be mushrooms, you know, maybe, I don't know. DMT was just completely different. So we're gonna do those 2 videos on the next episode of chapter whatever in my life story. So have fun on that note. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Enjoy the motherfucking sunshine. It's nice and cloudy sunshine here. So I'll be on my merry way, and I'm continuing on my sorcerer's apprenticeship, which is getting really fucking crazy awesome. And I'm totally gonna fucking keep you guys in on that loop. Count me in it. So pursuing my studies. I have a feeling I'm coming out of my it's practice mode, how I usually categorize how my cycles go. So I usually have theoretical and then practice. I was just in a long stretch of so many months of practice mode where I haven't been doing a lot of theoretical research. So now I feel like life is putting me back into the theoretical research aspect, and so I will be studying a lot for the next, whenever it decides to end, because I just follow whatever life gives me. I just keep up with what I'm supposed to do on a more intuitive way. And then I'll be into the practice, and then I won't be doing any theory learning. So it kind of has these weird stages. It's always been like that for me. So whatever, I just go with it. Okay, I gotta go. Love you all. Bye.